Hello dear viewers, welcome to Nacho Television News from Ankara in Turkey. I'll bring to you our news headlines in a bit. Starting from Kenya, the biggest mobile service provider, Safaricom, is being sued for allegedly violating the data privacy of its 11.5 million consumers. A subscriber has accused the telecom giant of exposing his sports betting history and biodata, according to a legal petition filed at the High Court in the capital of Nairobi. The complainant is seeking 1 billion Kenyan shillings, equivalent to $10 million, compensation for damages for the alleged data leak. Let's head to Sudan. The de facto leader has promised to release all imprisoned members of rebel groups, the country's state media reports. Mohamed Hamdan Hemeti Dagolo, deputy head of the ruling military council, said there were no political prisoners in Sudan, although opposition says many of its members have been jailed. Hemeti is also the commander of a paramilitary group, the Rapid Support Forces, which violently dispersed opposition protests in the capital, Khartoum. Talks between the military council said the opposition on the formation of a transitional government collapsed after dozens of protesters were killed earlier this month. In Ankara, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan spoke to the media following his ruling Justice and Development AK Party's paramilitary group meeting in Ankara. Asked about any possible cabinet reshuffle in the wake of the do-over polls, Erdogan said it will be the decision of the ruling party. If the cabinet reshuffle is needed, we will do it, he added. It will not be upon any order of others. One message of the Istanbul mayoral elections is that the Turkish people want the president to be impartial, said Turkey's main opposition leader Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu on Tuesday. Speaking to his Republican People's Party (CHP) parliamentary group, Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu said that there were two main results of last Sunday's rerun elections in Istanbul, a megalopolis of 16 million people. They also want the judiciary to be free of political pressure, he added. He said the president should embrace all 82 million of Turkey's people. The world is closely following Turkey's determination for democracy, he said. The winner is not only Ekrem İmamoğlu or democracy, but also Turkey, said Kılıçdaroğlu. Ekrem İmamoğlu, the CHP candidate, won the rerun election with 54.21% of the votes according to unofficial results. Murdered Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi's fiancé said on Tuesday the probe conducted by Saudi Arabia on the murder had no legitimacy after the publication of the UN report about the murder. Speaking at the 41st session of the UN Human Rights Council, Hatice Cengiz, a Turkish citizen, underlined that the recently released UN report showed proof that the Saudi government destroyed evidence related to the murder during its investigation. If it is viewed from the angle, there is no legitimacy left for the investigation being carried out in Saudi Arabia. Therefore, the necessity for an international investigation arises again, Cengiz stressed. Cengiz said Riyadh was accused of murder and that it was made clear in the UN report. UN consulate staffer Nazmin Mete Can-Türk left a courtroom in Istanbul. The house arrest of a Turkish employee of the US Consulate General in Istanbul and his family has been cancelled due to health concerns, prosecutors said on Tuesday. Nazmin Mete Can-Türk and his wife and daughter, charged over reported links with the Fethullah terrorist organization, had been under house arrest since January. But the court retained the ban on the three defendants leaving the country. FETÖ and its US-based leader Fethullah Gülen orchestrated the July 15, 2016 defeated coup in Turkey, which left 251 people martyred and nearly 2,200 injured. Ankara also accuses FETÖ of being behind a long-running campaign to overthrow the state through the infiltration of Turkish institutions, particularly the military, police, and the judiciary. Turkey's majestic mountain, Nemrut, continues attracting thousands of tourists who hope to experience its breathtaking sunrises and sunsets. Located in Kahtan district of the southeastern Adıyaman province, the mountain has been designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site owing its rich history. The mountain peak can be reached after a challenging 800 meters trek, which takes some 40 minutes. It attracts tourists from around the world with its 50 meters, which is equivalent to 164 foot high and 150 meters wide temples tombs. Larger-than-life statues of Greek and Persian gods dot the landscape. A carved lion and an eagle at each end flank the giant sculptures. Turning to last Sunday's rerun Istanbul elections, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said there is no offense at the nation or blaming the nation over the polls, which saw an opposition candidate win the mayoral seat during the ruling Justice and Development AK Party's parliamentary group on Tuesday. Main opposition Republican People's Party (CHP) candidate Ekrem İmamoğlu won the redo election by receiving 54.21% of the votes, according to the unofficial results. With 100% of ballots, continued opposition Republican People's Party Ekrem İmamoğlu received more than 800,000 votes, that ruling AK Party's candidate Binali Yildirim. After the results, both Erdogan and Yildirim congratulated İmamoğlu on his victory. Drug addicts are being treated and led back to normal life without using any medication at a rehabilitation center in Turkey's northwestern Balıkesir province. Situated in the scenic environs of Kaz Mountains in Balıkesir province in Turkey's northwest, the center engages addicts in sports, brain exercises, and counseling sessions to their bodies. Ufak Tani Tezemir, head of Ankara-based Kurtuluş Foundation, the foundation has set up the rehabilitation center in Balıkesir, which is fast turning an epicenter of health tourism due to its natural beauty and climate. Israeli forces fire tear gas at Palestinian demonstrators who protest US-led conference in Bahrain and participation of Arab delegates in the event in the West Bank city of Ar-Bilar. Palestinians staged several rallies across Israeli-occupied West Bank on Tuesday. It's in protest of the US-led conference in Bahrain. In the Gaza Strip, Palestinians staged a general strike in protest of the US, and the two-day event will be open in Bahrain capital, Manama, on Tuesday, during which US officials are expected to unveil the economic portion of their Back-Channel Middle East peace plan, known as a deal of the century. Thousands of opposition demonstrators protest outside the Georgian parliament for a sixth day in Tbilisi, Georgia. The protesters demand the resignation of the Interior Minister Georgi Gahkari, the release of activists detained early. The protests erupted after a controversial visit of Sergei Gavrilov, a Russian lawmaker of the Russian State Duma from the Communist Party, who addressed the Georgia's assembly from the speaker's seat during an annual meeting of the Inter-Parliamentary Assembly on Orthodox, a forum of lawmakers from Orthodox countries. 10 people have died and 30 were injured when a vehicle carrying irregular migrants crashed in northwestern Turkey, according to the reports from the scene. Ekrem Kanalp, governor of the Edirne province where the crash took place, has arrived at the scene. In a written statement, the government said that the suspicion vehicle failed to stop when warned. The vehicle driver did heed the military police warning, telling him to stop and try to make a fast escape, only to hit a shop, the statement said. Edirne, bordering with Greece and Bulgaria, has seen an influx of immigrants seeking to cross into the European Union. Turkey has been a key transit point of irregular migrants aiming to cross to Europe to start new lives, especially those fleeing war and persecution. Three suicide bombers stormed a police compound in southwestern Pakistan on Wednesday morning, killing one policeman and injuring two others, said officials. The militants wearing suicide vests stormed the compound in the remote Lolala district in Balochistan, said Inter-Service Public Relations, the Pakistani military's media wing. The one militant was killed by police at the entrance, but the other two managed to enter the compound premises. One was killed and the other detonated his suicide vest. In a statement, Jam Kemal, Balochistan's chief minister, condemned the attack, saying security forces acted swiftly and foiled the terrorist attack. Turkish security forces have neutralized two PKK terrorists as part of a counter-terrorism operation in eastern Turkey, the country's interior minister said on Saturday. The military forces targeted terrorists in a rural area of Tunceli province. The ministry said in a statement. Turkish authorities often use the word neutralized in their statements to imply that the terrorists in question either surrendered or were killed or captured. The Burkinab army had been providing security after an issue of flare-up, but tensions had erupted over chieftaincy issues, with rival groups laying claim to the local regency, and the bloodshed looked like it was set to return. That's when they decided to run away with their children, and the violence left a trail of destruction, according to the asylum seekers, as houses were burned and livestock and grain were stolen. Eritrea Catholic bishops have called for fasting and prayers in the ongoing war with the government. In the last few weeks, the government has closed health centers and clinics run by the church. The bishops have been critical of what they say is a lack of justice and bad governance by President Isaias Afwerki's government. On Monday, government security agents arrested a nun and another worker for not handling or handing over the keys for their health center in Ansebe region. Rwandan police are investigating how thousands of young Rwandans were conned into paying a registration fee for a wealthy and fitness conference that never happened. The young people turned up at a conference center in the capital Kigali to find that their $5 online registration fee was for nothing. The venue was full with at least 2,000 hopeful participants, but no organizers could be found. Some of those who turned up said they were told they would receive $197 for taking part. The police and youth ministry arrived at the venue once news of the con had spread on social media. Youth Minister Rosemary Mbabazi told the unfortunate participants that they had been the victims of a scam. She added that this could be a lesson for those who go for empty promises of easy money online. The police assured the frustrated young people that they would pursue the case and get the fees returned. Police in Liberia are investigating who officers after they shot at people protesting against ritual killings in Kingsville, about 20 kilometers south of the capital, Monrovia, leaving at least one boy with serious injuries. The boy was sitting by the roadside roasting and selling corn when he was shot in the head, residents said. He is currently receiving treatment, but his condition is said to be critical. Local media reported 3 people were shot one died following Monday's incident. Police spokesman Moses Carter said the 2 officers had been hit with stones by the protesters before the shooting happened. Members of the parliament in Tanzania have asked the government to end the rule requiring shopkeepers to delay opening on Saturday morning once a month to get people to clean up the streets, privately owned media ITV reports. Shops are only allowed to open at 10 a.m. local time on the clean-up days, but very few people get involved in the tidy-up. The members of the parliament said that forcing the shops to stay shut for 4 hours from dawn means that business people lose money and the government misses out on tax revenues. Customers or business people want to travel at the time and they fail to get the services they needed. Member of Parliament Musa Mbaruku is quoted as saying the clean-up rule was introduced 3 years ago. Several migrants' deaths, coupled with reports of severe neglected children at a Texan border patrol station, have helped shape the debate, but the bill faces a tough path through the Republican-controlled Senate. It is considering a rival bill with fewer restrictions on how border agencies can spend the money. The Democrats' version, in contrast, contains several strict rules setting out that the funds can be used for humanitarian aid only and not for migration raids, non-detention beds, not a border wall, a statement from House Appropriators Committee Chair Nita Lowell said. The bill was toughened up after some Democrats expressed concern over providing extra funds for agencies involved in the current situation, including those enforcing President Donald Trump's zero-tolerance policy, which leads to migration children being separated from their parents. Thank you so much for being with us. Natural Television News from Ankara in Turkey. I am Sauda Mganga. Thanks for watching.